As soon as they stepped out of that office, some kid leaned over to me and said, "Hey, retard. Hey, guess what? I'd never hit anybody in my life. But in that moment, in trying to crush this guy to smithereens so that nobody else would ever call me a retard or know that I was retarded, I just hit the kid as hard as I could. And from there, I was suspended for 3 days in second grade. Second time in second grade. And it just kind of rolled on from there. And then when I got out of the military, I was trying to use my VA benefits. And so I tried to go back to high school, but at a college level where you take these courses. And I went through an entire semester and I failed at every single thing that I tried to do. And you know how it is when you apply 100%, you know in your heart that you applied 100%. You gave it your all, diligently. And I failed at every single course.
All right, let's hold it there, and let's bring the awareness that Dave is not at all retarded. In fact, Dave is highly intelligent, according to the basic IQ test, which simply measures verbal intelligence, how you use language and how you use language to come to new understandings. What happened for Dave was that he could not read because he was dyslexic.
Severely dyslexic, yes.
And so this misapprehension, this mislabeling, created a situation for Dave where his entire being was cramped together and held down and ready to fight because he had a secret and he didn't dare let anybody know. And so he was there for all of his formative years. All of his formative years, his entire body and his metabolism was maintained as if he was directly under attack 24 hours a day, ready to be killed, ready to be destroyed, ready to be humiliated, ready to not be a human being. So what did that do to the younger Dave Conradi? Well, maybe you'll hear some of those horrible stories, but what it did to his metabolism was that he spent all of his effort learning how to soothe the unhappiness in his metabolism. That means drinking and food and
drugs,
sex,
yeah.
and drugs and you name it, anything to not feel what it feels like to be me. And food has always been part of that. And so those habits, even though he suspended them for over 10 years, are what he needs to grow out of completely so that he never falls back into them. Now, in our culture, in the way we've been learning to do things all of the last several thousand years, what we would have done was say, aha, a bad habit, that's a bad behavior, break the habit and don't do that behavior, and if you do it, we'll beat the heck out of you or put you in prison. And you know what? If you look around you, you might notice that it never has worked very well. It works just enough to keep trying, but it never saves the day. We are failures as a culture at improving ourselves. Even though we can point to specific individuals who have improved themselves, as a culture, our approach doesn't work. So what we need to do is to have a much more efficient, effective, and real approach based on who we really are. And that is really beautifully described in the Compass Way. So what Dave grew up in is in what we describe as the compass of self-protection. And there are tapes, in this series, not the series about Dave, but about the Compass Way, that describe the compass of self-protection and what that means. And what Dave needs to do is to recognize where that has happened to him. He's there now, and he has a choice. And he can move into getting along, which is transactional, where he's doing a bargain. He's saying, I need to do this. Or better than being in the compass of getting along, which is transactional, being in grace. And Dave knows how to be in grace. He has a profound way to get into grace. It's simply that he does it under special circumstances for special events, and it takes place and it lasts until it doesn't, and then he's sort of on his own. He needs to generalize that so that he can never be unnecessarily in the compass of self-protection, and can open up and be his expanded self. Not expanded this way, but expanded this way. So that's what we're going to be working on in terms of the compass. And in terms of nutrition, we're going to superfoods, all green, 90% green anyway, and organic, and GMO free, and all the enzymes, the
100% vegan,
and all of that, but really pumping in the nutrition so that his body is happy to get along without the tons and tons of calories that he's also been putting in. And so we're going to be doing all of that work. Please follow us. We've got everything coming up, and you'll be able to see it happen day by day, week by week, month by month, because Dave's going to be at it for a long time, and he's going to save himself. And that's going to save us all. And just to remember, he is inviting everybody who wants to travel with him to travel along and do the same. So let's have fun.